We were on Clubhouse trying to record on Clubhouse. Thought we were following the rules by putting it in the thing that we were recording. And when I tried to do the screen thing, it kicked us off and da 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 da. So we've been talking for a little while already. Yes, I know you're saying about the title, but I just threw up the title real quick. Didn't really want to have too many people come check in. What happens is people get pinged into a room saying, "Oh, something's going on," and what happens is sometimes when you look at the little notification, you touch it and then you get thrown in a room. Tracy B was commenting on that. There's like kind of like, dang, you don't really want to go in the room, and so I'm in the room. I can't get out.
And then you're embarrassed. It says leave quietly, but it's like, well, they already see I don't want to, well, people feel bad that I came in and then went out.
Well, if you have a big room, you don't see them because they come at the bottom. But when you only have 2 or 3 people and one person leaves, well, it's kind of like if you're a band and you're playing in front of 10 people and one guy leaves, you're like, hey, where the hell did everybody go?
That's 10% of your audience.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we were just talking about your training, and I like the fact that you got out there and got the miles in on the Saturday and Sunday. So that's looking good, because that's something you've never really done a whole lot in the past, is train. Of course, when you race as much as you do, it's just race recovery. So that's a good thing. And I, like I said, you were talking about, when the thing about on Clubhouse, and we're both on there, and, we love to chat with you guys, get some ideas. We'd like to, use some of it so we can repurpose it. I mean, I think a lot of people on Clubhouse have that same thing. They're like, hey, there's such great content in here. Of course, Clubhouse wants the content on their site and not spread around. So they're going to be like, make it so you can't. But the problem with that thing, I guess the good part about it and the bad part is it's just poof. It's there and then just poof, it's gone into ether. I had an amazing thing last night. I figured out that this one person is a celebrity, and he goes by the name God.
G-O-D? God?
Yeah,
G-O-D?
God. And he has some Instagram things, and it turns out when you hear him talk and you immediately know who it is, it's Seth Rogen.
It's who?
Seth Rogen.
No way. He was on your program last night?
No, he comes on Clubhouse all the time.
Oh, okay. Comes on Clubhouse. Okay.
Yeah. Well, no. Yeah. And so, So what happened was he came on. I followed him, and then so when he open the room, it alerted me, and I went in, and for a few minutes it was just me and him chit-chatting. It was pretty crazy. Awesome. And then some other people, and I was up there speaking, and it was just a fun thing. He's pretty upset about, there's this whole rap controversy where there's this guy, I can't remember his name, but anyways, it's just kind of, and so he's kind of like talking about that and kind of annoyed about the reaction that people are just going crazy over this rapper when there's so many other things going on in the world that's the least concerned. But that's what's amazing about the whole Clubhouse is, you end up talking to people, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm just having this conversation, and he's funny, and then so you're like, oh, so God, are you going to be here next Sunday? Because it's Easter. Yeah. And he'll go along with it, and he doesn't always come out. Yeah, it's Little Nas, and he's made this video, and it's got like some devil imagery and stuff like that, and so everyone's going crazy. Now, not everyone, but church people are going crazy. But then everybody's like, but Seth's like going, people, he took it out of your book. So he's depicting things from the book that you love. So not to get all political or religious. But it was just really interesting. And there's a lot of big time celebrities on there and people like that. There's people like yourself. We were on there the other day and we had that young man talking to us. So it was fun and I really enjoy it. And I think I don't mean to hog up everything, but I think once we can get because like right now we can't start a club, but once we start a club, we'll definitely have that and maybe have like office hours, like something time regular with you.
Are they planning at some point to get it to where Droid phones can come on too? Because at this point, it's only for iPhone users,
yes.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, they got it for the iPhones, and they're not going to shut out the people with Android phones, but it takes a lot of work because you basically got to do the whole work over again. So you make the app for the Droid, you make the app for Apple, and then you have the whole Android world. And what really sucks is when you get the invites, you got to make sure that person has an iPhone. Because if you send them an invite and they don't have an
that.
iPhone, you wasted an invite.
I've done that. I sent invites to a couple of people, and one of them got back to me. Oh, Ed, I can't join. I have an Android phone, and yet it took my three invites, and it used that, and so yeah.
Well, there is a hack that I'm sure you can Google that probably seems like people who are Android people hate Apple vehemently. I have one person in my life, Liz, who just won't go near an Apple iPhone and stuff. And I'm like, okay. But if you have an iPad, you can sign up through the iPad and then you can use the app on your Android. So there is a workaround for people. So somebody you sent it to, say, hey, check on if you, of course, usually, like I said, people don't have iPhones, generally don't have iPads. I myself don't understand why anybody would want an Android phone. I mean, yeah, Apple might be the evil empire, but their technology sure works good. And everybody's an evil empire. I mean, Androids, I'm sure using
Samsung.
Terrible. They're using, their workers are not being treated nicely, and they're using rare metals and conflict. I mean, and so it's like, you can't, I mean, I think I remember seeing one time, like on Joe Rogan, an ethically built phone, and it was a piece of junk and it cost a fortune. It's like, I mean, sorry, but it's just kind of the way it is. So anyway, it's just kind of crazy. I enjoy, the thing is funny is now we're on Clubhouse. We're like, oh, doing the podcast, it was kind of cool to get in touch with you. I still, enjoy talking with you, and want to say I'm glad you got 2 posts on Strava.
On Instagram, you mean?
Instagram, yeah.
Yeah, I did, but then I don't know how to, after I post, to see if I saw one that showed a number of likes, but I didn't know if people had commented, and I gotta work with it some more. It's that my lack of Facebook I'm very familiar with, although I'm not on it, haven't been on it for a while. I need to go back and reactivate my, my Jester account. But anyway, so yeah, I did, and I might, start posting some short little clips, running with the Jester and see how that goes. But yeah, it's a new medium for me and social media, and just it's a matter of getting comfortable with it.
Well, if you used to do a pretty good job on Facebook, and Facebook's a lot more complicated, really. But it's a waste of time. Just get on Instagram. The thing with this Clubhouse is you can link Clubhouse to your Instagram and Twitter, and now we're not going to get you in Twitter at all. That'll be them, but they get you on Instagram. And the beauty thing about that is, and you were doing a good job in Clubhouse. I noticed you were clicking on people's pictures and looking them up. So that was really good how you're doing that. Well, when you click on them, people can link. They can have an Instagram button and a Twitter button. You only have an Instagram, and so people can click on that, and then they can direct message you and write you while you're on Clubhouse. And of course they can look at your photos and da. And so that's kind of really good to have that Instagram. And so work on doing your Instagram. In terms of you just click on the little heart or whatever it is on Instagram, and that'll show you, when people have been commenting.
Okay. So if I open up where it shows the likes, that will show if there's comments.
Well, yeah, but also you just click on it and it will show it kind of. I can't look at my phone at the same time, but I mean, I could. But,
I'll play around with this more.
Yeah, you just click on it and it'll show.
My concern is sometimes like somebody will messenger me on Facebook and I won't see it, and for some reason I'll go over there and see that someone sent me a message like weeks ago, and I feel bad. And it's not like I've been ignoring them. I just didn't know that there was a message there. And then I open it up and it's like, oh, sorry. So I don't want that to happen with Instagram, that someone messages me and then I don't get back to them.
Also you can turn on your notifications on Instagram and then you'll get notified of it. But also, it's got that little mail thing. What happens on Facebook is if people weren't friends with you or something, the way you have it set up, it gets thrown in this one folder, and usually that's all spam thing, bots and crap, and Facebook all around. And so, every once in a blue moon, you look on that and go, crap, this person was asking me about this or that. But, that's just kind of like, you also should sort of kind of know, because the regular Messenger, and in fact, Facebook Messenger will mesh with Instagram Messenger. So I was saying, what you need to do, and we talked about this before, is just bang around on the buttons and see what they do. You can't break it. It's not like I was talking about how, like, if I bang around, well, nowadays cars are all electronic too, but old cars, if I turn the wrench the wrong way on the carburetor's broke. it's not coming back. Whereas with the internet, the beauty of the internet is you turn it off and turn it back on and it works. I mean, my dad worked for Motorola, and he used to be like in charge of the computer systems, like the fire department or police department. And he'd get the call at 2 a.m. Hey, the computers, it's not working. And so he drove down there, and a lot of times he would, it's just, he needed to reboot it, but he'd have to kind of waste time, because then he'd go back, he'd turn it on and off, and then it would come back to life. But didn't really want the people to know that like it was that simple. But I always wish, I wish I could like turn my car on and off and it would start up again. But that's So
that's
like I was
like
saying,
there's the old story of assembly line company. They're 24/7, and something happens and their whole assembly line system shuts down, and they're losing thousands of dollars every minute. And they call this expert, and he comes out and he examines the situation, and he takes his screwdriver out of his toolkit and does 1/4 turn on one set screw, on a ground screw, and suddenly everything's all up and running. And he gives them the bill for $10,000. And like, what? $10,000? All you did was turn the real screw. And he's like, yeah, turning the screw, that cost you 50 cents. My 20 years of experience is what cost you, knowing which screw to turn. That's what cost you the $10,000.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that's definitely the way it works. So anyways, we're kind of all just talking about this, but I really think this whole Clubhouse thing is a great way to meet people and communicate with everybody and spread the message. And, I've been on I was on this Ultra Runner one, and I opened up a room through them, and immediately the guy wrote me back. Hey, you said to me, hey, you want to be an administrator on the thing? So now I'm an admin on that, so I can actually open up a room with you or anybody and do that. And what was crazy about that one is, it's called Ultra Runner Club. It was almost all people from, like, in England. And so I was talking to all these people over on the other side of the world. And then I was on a trail runner one this morning when I got back from my walks, and there were people, expats that are in Hong Kong or Portugal. And so, the world would greatly expand. And so I highly recommend people, once you get an invite, come on. Another thing you need to do on I know I'm giving you all this list of stuff, but on the, and you kind of looked at it already, on your profile on Clubhouse, you can add all kinds of stuff. It has unlimited space, it seems like. So if you look at mine, I actually put in some stuff, kind of Jester-esque, kind of some stats and numbers in mine, because I noticed, like, when you're in a room, people immediately hit your profile and read what you're saying, and they ask you questions based on what they read, especially when you come into a room and they're like, oh, hey there, Ed, what's, they'll look at it. Even the good moderators are doing that, something I need to learn to do too. And so that was kind of fun. So we've talked about the races. Have you heard anything about the Orange Curtain still? Is it still up in the air or not happening?
Still up in the air. Yen Darcy, I'd emailed her, I think maybe 2 weeks ago, and she got back to me and said still waiting for permits. Haven't heard anything. So I know out of the 3 that I'm planning to do in April, 2 of them are on private property, and they've got the definite 100% it's a go for Blue and for Born to Run. Yeah. But in the middle of those 2 is Orange Curtain, and that's in Cerritos, California, Orange County, and they haven't yet gotten their permit yet. So I don't know. And it's only a couple weeks away. So, and I was looking for something else to do that weekend. The only thing I could see was this race in Georgia, which I don't really, I was at, in fact, the shirt I have on right now is from Georgia. So I was out there this summer, but I'd rather do something local than go all the way out to Georgia, or maybe I just won't run that race that weekend. But it would be cool to have 3 in a row, especially if I could win each and set a course record at each, which 2 of them I already have the course record. So break that. And then anyway, we'll see. I'll wait to hear back from Yen and see what's happening.
Yeah. Well, when I was talking to people from, various countries, they're still shut down and airtight. It sounds, a lot more than we, because I was asking, people like, hey, what are you planning? What are you doing? And they're like, there's no races. Like the guy in Portugal's like, yeah, we can't even go to trails and run on the trails. And I was thinking, like when this whole thing was going down, and Blanc is like, no, you're going to have to mask up. And I'm like, look, I'm going to mask up when I'm door dashing. I'm going in businesses. I'm around people. but I am not going to mask up when I go out walking by myself. And, if they want to come and arrest me, they can tackle me and handcuff me and drag me into their car. There's no way I'm going to go out and do 10 miles wearing a mask by myself. I'm sorry, but that's just ridiculous. I don't care where I live. Well, I guess if I lived in Singapore, I might care because, they used to beat kids with canes for dropping a piece of gum on the ground. Remember that whole thing? I think it was Singapore. Yes. You get 20 lashes with a cane because you dropped your gum on the ground. And so maybe there they do haul you off and they never hear back from you. So, and the other thing that was really shocking and amazing is, I got the COVID shots and I had my second one on Friday. Ever since I got COVID, the shot, my sleep has gone to crap. I was never a good sleeper, 4 or 5 hours, had a congestive heart failure, got on these medications, and I started sleeping 6, 7 hours. Instead of sleep score 70 or 80, I'm getting 80, 90s. I'm sleeping better than my wife. She's kind of jealous ever since. And you can see on my Fitbit, my resting heart rate's going up and my sleep has been crap. And so I asked these people, there are like 20, 30 people in the room, any of you had the shot and had any kind of side effects? And none of them in the room had. I guess in other countries, everybody's talking how bad we were at, but we've now got 150 million people vaccinated. Sound like everybody I was talking to, they weren't super old, but they're around our age of 40. They're like, no, we haven't got the shot. None of them, all the different countries. I was kind of shocked and then it was funny because all the people were like, well, you should really, talk to your doctor about, those symptoms you're having. And I'm like, well, we're doing a good job getting vaccinations, but you do know about American healthcare system. It's pretty crappy. I can't just see my doctor like all the drug heads say. I can call, maybe get an appointment in 2 weeks, and then I'm going to talk to somebody, some general practitioner who doesn't know anything. I go, and I think they're trying to be concerned about my health. And I was like, the sleeping is the least concern. So very interesting. So it's bad, but I guess it's a lot worse in other places because I told them jokingly, I go, well, the good thing is we have Florida and Arizona and Texas.
Yeah.
And, yeah, we have a lot of states who just don't give a shit.
Right.
You went to Arizona and ran those races. So anyways,
and I went to Texas this last year and Georgia and Florida to run races in.
And Oklahoma
and Kansas and all kinds of different places. But yeah, they all.
You did the Red State Trump tour of ultras, basically.
There we go. That's what it was. Yeah, that's looking for where am I going to be able to run during COVID? Look for a red state. There we go. That's
just see who they vote for. That's just the reality of it. And then I remember we had that great conversation with the race director at that Lotse. And kind of talk about the whole culture and everything. And I was like, I know that culture. They all moved to California during the Dust Bowl. I know that, badass, kick ass, take names kind of thing. So, yeah,
well, they were really proud. Oklahoma, that's where that Wyatt Hockmeyer. It was, and I forget the name of the town, but it's an Indian name. And he said Oklahoma was the last one to shut down during COVID and the first one to reopen, and they're really proud of that. It's like, yeah, we're Oklahomans. That's the way we do it.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting. So I for a minute there, I was like, I was going to ask you like, what's the point of doing all these races? And I keep forgetting. Oh yeah, he's getting close to 200. He wants to get that damn number. For a minute, I was like, okay, if you're planning on this 68 when you're 60. Which is another year and a half, 3 or 4 months. I was like, let's train and save up and all that kind of stuff. But so when you get to 200, are you going to kind of do a little bit of cruise control?
All right. So blue, next week, not this coming weekend, but the weekend after will be number 197. And then if orange curtain actually happens, it'll be 198. And then Born to Run 199. So if all things fall into place and if Nanny Goat actually happens this year, and they're waiting for permits in Riverside, but Nanny Goat should be number 200. And then I have an idea for in the Dome, 6 days in the Dome. We talked about going and getting my Centurion by doing a 100-mile power walk under 24 hours. So
Yep.
my thinking is I might go there and make that races 201, 202, 203. So do the 24-hour and then do the 48-hour and then do the 72-hour. So I can knock out 3 all in one place. And that's the system I'm going to use to do 60 in a year. There's, because there's only 52 weekends in a year. So I've got to be able to double, triple up. And that's the way to do it. They're all separate entities of their own. Now, the only downfall to that is if I have really good numbers at all 3 and putting it together would give me 500 or more miles. I can't count it that way, even though I will know I did a 6-day race and completed over 500 miles, but because they're 3 separate entities, so that would be the only downfall. But if I'm going to be there anyway, why not just, knock 3 of them out right then? And that way my record breaker, which would be number 206, should be able to happen sometime this summer. Don't know where.
The one problem though with the dome is they don't have a 72-hour.
They don't.
Nope.
Oh, well, here we go. No problem. Do they have a 48-hour?
Yes.
Okay. So I do the 24, the 48, and then the 6-day. So I can still do 3 separate races. I'll just only do 72 hours in the 6-day.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's they actually have 2 24-hour races. One starts on Friday, one starts on Saturday. And then you could do but the 48 starts on Friday as well. So they have 2 24-hour races there.
Yeah, the problem is trying to do back-to-back sub 24-hour 100. There was a time when I could do that, and I've actually a couple times done over 3 times. I've done over 200 miles in 48 hours, but had to be ideal conditions. Plus, I was younger and a little faster. So, I
was just popping up. The reason they don't have 72, and I don't like the 72 anyways. They don't keep records for 72-hour.
Right.
So
True.
so there would be no reason for people to be running for 3 days, and so. I guess Jackpot is the same weekend as Born to Run.
It is.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a bummer because it'd be nice to go there. And, would be really cool is race number 200 to do 200 miles. But I don't know how to make that. And if I did that, then I would not be making Nanago my 200th, which the significance for that for me is it's kind of a hometown race, but also it was where I did my very first ultra, which ended up being my first 100, and my second 100 was at Nanagoat, and this will be my 12th 100-miler at Nanagoat. So it really makes sense. I was looking at that race in Arizona coming up, that Cocodona or something like that, but 250 miler, but it's like, nah. And my work schedule wouldn't allow it anyway. And in fact, I even thought about going out there to support it because I'm part of the Squirrels Nut Butter team ambassadors, and they're manning a station. They asked for volunteers to come out, which would be fun to do. I'd love to be able to go out there and just be in the aid station and help people as they come in. It would be difficult for me because I want to be in the race, but it'd be good, but it just doesn't work with my work schedule. So I'm not.
But that race really wouldn't be in your wheelhouse. It's one of these rocky desert races like Abilene. So you need to focus.
Pretty bad by that one.
You got to focus on your wheelhouse. So that was, in fact, when you're doing your posts on Instagram, you need to put at Ultra Running, and you need to put in your post at Squirrel Nut Butter.
Yeah, true. Well, that'll be the next time. I'm learning little things as I go along. As I do each one, I'll add some little extra.
Yeah. Oh
bit
no,
of knowledge.
We're doing this on video, kind of like the Khan Academy. You ever heard of the Khan Academy? Khan, Khan. Khan Academy is a guy, Khan. He was an uncle, and he had a niece who was having difficulty in math. So he started making videos to show her how to do the math, and then he just threw them up on YouTube. People started watching him, and now the channel gets millions and millions of hits because he's expanded out. into physics and all kinds of stuff. So I'm having like the Andy Academy for Ed using Instagram.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I'm the little girl niece that doesn't know anything about it, trying to figure it out. So yeah, it works.
No, it's just I tease Ed and he allows me to tease him, but it drives me nuts when older people just go, I just can't do it. I don't understand. I was like, no, you got a brain in your head. Yeah, you're afraid of like looking silly or foolish or doing something wrong. And in the past, that was true. Like I said, with physical objects, I would never go up and try and work on something because I'd always screw it up, mainly because I don't have an attention to detail. But with the internet, no one's really watching watching you do it. Okay. And then it was funny, like we were on I was listening to this podcast hosting thing on Clubhouse. And this one young woman's like, well, I've taken she calls it a sabbatical on her podcast, which I was like, honey, nobody cares. And she's like, but now I'm coming back and I want to make sure people understand this is like season 2. And she's concerned about all this kind of stuff. And the ladies who were on it were kind of saying sort of what I said. And I came on, they let me speak. And I go, it doesn't matter. No one cares. No one's following you that closely except maybe your mom. And so it doesn't really matter and that's why I want to tell you about like your videos. If it's hokey or dumb or you didn't do it quite right, no one really cares. It kind of reminds me of when I did the endurance challenge one year and I was having a terrible race. Everything was going wrong. My feet were killing me. I think it was the year I had Joel crewing me, but we didn't have a car. He crewed me the first 50 miles and then walked the race, and he was having issues. And I was, in that Redondo Beach, Marina Del Rey area, and I was just suffering. I had like less than 10 miles to go. And remember her name, Maureen, caught me? Ultra gal Maureen. She used to do Angel's Crest.
This is an endurance challenge?
Yes, the endurance challenge. Yeah. And I was having just a terrible race. It was not the year. It was a couple years before you had those people you trained. And I'm walking along and she catches me. And she used to be a really fast runner in the 90s and 100s. She's one of the few women out there in Angel's Crest. Well, anyways, she caught me with her friend. I think it was a boyfriend at the time or something like that. And she's commiserating and complaining like, we're not going to break 30 hours. We ended up just getting right under over 30 hours. And she's complaining about it, our time and stuff. And he's a runner himself. And he's like, Maureen, all people care about is really that you're finished. No one really cares about what your time was. If you finish, you finish. And he's like, you really ultimately shouldn't care too much. And so that's kind of what I'm saying with like when you're making the videos and doing stuff, it's like, yes, there are people out there enjoying it, but they also understand that, you're learning and doing things. And, I try, it may not work, but hey, it's not like we're going to fire you, Ed.
Right.
And,
it's not like they're going to take away my races. Oh, you messed up. So we're going to take back the buckles of some of those races you did. Yeah.
Yeah. And so,
it's a learning experience.
And people enjoy you and like and people like seeing those moments. I mean, if I was around, I would love to be like, I should talk to your daughter or somebody around you and say, yeah, let's film Ed trying to figure out how to post on Instagram. Yeah. Like a behind the scenes. That would get more
like an idiot.
That would get more views than probably the post.
Right.
But because
that'd be great. My dad would love to do that. Watch my idiot dad try to post on Instagram. Yeah.
It's just great. That's the real. And another thing that you can do on Instagram is you can actually turn your account into a professional account. And if you do that, and it's in the settings, you go down the settings and you click on the settings thing, let's say you want to make it a professional account. And one of the reasons it's nice to do that is then you get all kinds of stats and data. For some dumb reason, I did a couple accounts like that. And now they say you've reached a limit of business accounts. So, which is super dumb, but it's kind of nice because you can see actually what posts are getting likes and who's looking at your stuff. In fact, it was funny when I was looking at the stats, it showed like that my male to female ratio is 80-20, 80% men, 20% women, which makes sense because most ultras, it's 80% men, and so good stuff. So it was kind of fun to do that. And, we are, it's kind of forget which conversations I've had with you, but yeah, you were talking in the clubhouse about the races and all that other stuff. So good things. I guess we'll, I don't know if you got to take off and got stuff to do, but I want to just kind of catch up with you. And I don't think anything much. I'm doing that running with the burros. I'm going to do a 10-mile race in next weekend.
Where's that at? Is that here in California? Is that Arizona, or where is that?
It's right up on the way to Lone Pine Badwater. It's like, where that brewery is on the 14. You drive by it all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't pay attention because brewery doesn't mean anything to me. So,
well, it doesn't either to me. Well, yeah, it's Indian Wells. It's kind of like right off of that 14, but and so you run all there, yeah, and you can 10 mile, 17 and 27, and you can run, and some people run with a burro. Like Patrick Sweeney's a good burro runner, and he's often just the race. And the burro has all the gear for mining, so he has that pan and a pickaxe, and kind of commemorating the whole silver mining type of things. Bill Dickey's always out there, so he'll be out there again. Bill from the 6 Day. In fact, I'm surprised you didn't go down. He was doing a 6 Day in Arizona just recently.
I saw a post about that. Wasn't aware of it. So
it's just this crazy old school race by that Gary guy.
Yeah,
him. He puts it on kind of like just at a local park, and they have like a board, and you click off the things. That's the same. Yeah, what's really kind of sucks is that Reedley 24, the Silver Moon that you've done.
Yeah.
That they can't get a permit for there, so they're going to do it at Paso Robles, but it's the same weekend as Nanny Go.
I saw that because I would like to do that, and I saw that it's the same weekend. It's like, weekend before, weekend after, because I've done that race and won it, the 24-hour race, and they do a good job. I
like the course, except for the hill. There's a big hill that didn't need to be there, but it's interesting because like Nanny Goat being on private property, it's kind of weird that they just can't do it because it's at this horse stables.
I think, but part of it goes on the street, which is public access. I don't know the details, but it does seem like Shelley Sexton is the co-race director. It's her property, so it would seem like. But I don't know. Maybe Riverside County has some weird thing. If you have public involved, you have to get a permit from them, or because part of it, a little stretch of it goes on that public road.
Yeah.
Then they could reroute it to the Orange Grove if they wanted to. I don't know. I don't know the details, so we'll see.
Yeah, it'd be great to just have this thing all end. It's just crazy. Just the whole having to figure out all these rules and regulations, and then things are open and not open. So. We shall see. I think that's about all I had to cover with you. So, get on there and on that the clubhouse and add to your profile bio, put in some stuff, put in a link because people will definitely want to reach out and contact you. And just trying to think of not much else because unfortunately it kind of hurts our podcast. We're leaving the show not in the hallway, we're leaving it in the clubhouse. Which is ironic. It's kind of cool. I've been on the clubhouse and interacting with Ed, and then my friend Tracy B. I've talked to her quite often on there too. It's nice to see her and her, and so I think that's about it. Anything else you got to share, Ed, today?
No, just keep failing forward, everybody out there, and keep trying new things to push yourself beyond your